Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. Are you woke enough yet? Apparently, you might not be, especially if you haven't taken anti-racist math classes. Look, I'm still trying to unpack a lot of this. Oregon promotes teacher program to subtract racism in mathematics. Um, Let me just start with this. Coming from an engineering background, so science, STEM in general, I honestly thought this video would be more about helping teachers to be more understanding of different cultures when they're teaching math. But it doesn't really seem like that. This seems like a manifesto almost. So I'm going to kind of read some of this. So the Oregon Department of Education recently encouraged teachers to register for training that encourages ethnomathematics and argues, among other things, that white supremacy actually manifests itself in the focus of finding the right answer. Now, to me, math is pretty much right or wrong answer. And you can have the right answer or you can have several wrong answers, depending on if you know the content. I've got hair sticking up all over the place. So this newsletter that the Department of Education in Oregon sent out back last week is called Pathway to Math Equity Microcourse, which is designed for middle school teachers. Middle school teachers, that's according to my middle school, 6th to 8th grade, to make use of a toolkit for dismantling racism in mathematics. The event website identifies the event as a partnership between California San Mateo County Office of Education and the Education Trust West and others. So part of the toolkit includes a list of ways white supremacy culture, in quotes, allegedly infiltrates math classrooms. Those include the focus on getting the right answer, students being required to show their work, and other alleged manifestations. And this part kind of just blows my mind because I could have swore that in math, finding the right answer is like the goal. When I grew up, I looked at math as a game, and the game was to find the right answer. If you're playing tic-tac-toe, you know that there can be many ways you got to show your work. In any game you play, there is a right answer. Typically, there are different ways to get there, but there is a right answer to math. 2 plus 2 equals 4. There is no other way. There's no other, someone please help me out here in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. And then, yes, to show your work. That's why in geometry, there are theorems, there are postulates, there are corollaries, so that people have shown their work in history to explain why they did certain equations and why certain things work. And as you get into, trigonometry and pre-calc and calculus and things like that, which is really high school concepts, those things are out there. And for middle schoolers, you're, just getting into algebra and things like that. But you have to show your work to show that you actually have an understanding of the concept, to show that you can actually say it in your own words and put it in your own writing that, hey, I have a basic understanding of this. So I'm lost where it says that, getting the right answer and showing your work are ways that white supremacy culture have infiltrated math classrooms. Maybe I'm not that woke after all. So please, I hope someone can help me understand this. This article continues: the concept of mathematics being purely objective is unequivocally false, and teaching it is even much less so. The document for the Equitable Math Toolkit reads: upholding the idea that there are always right and wrong answers perpetuate objectivity as well as fear of open conflict. And this is just it's so way over my concept and understanding. I feel like this is attacking me in some way. So the ODE is led by Colt Gill. He confirmed the letter to Fox, and there's a whole bunch of stuff here. An associated Dismantling Racism workbook, there's actually a website out there that's called dismantlingracism.org, and I guess they provide all this material linked with the toolkit. Similarly identifies objectivity, described as the belief that there is such a thing as being objective or neutral as a characteristic of white supremacy. Instead of focusing on one right answer, the toolkit encourages teachers to come up with at least 2 answers that might solve this problem. It adds challenge standardized test questions by getting the right answer, but justify other answers by unpacking the assumptions that are made in the problem. And let me just say this: you MFers don't pay teachers enough to even teach what they're normally teaching. So how do you expect them to have to now unpack the things that their parents are putting on them to begin with, and the things that society and TV and everything else is is putting on them. How do you expect teachers to actually do this when they can barely get through one lesson, let alone now having to unpack the meaning behind mathematics, which has nothing in my mind to do with mathematics? This is confusing me, and I think I need to take this training to really understand what they're getting at. It also encourages teachers to center ethnomathematics, which includes a variety of guidelines. One of them instructs educators to identify and challenge the ways that math is used to uphold capitalist, imperialist, and racist views. And at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, this is 2 plus 2. This is algebra. There's variables. What part of mathematics is imperialist? You're trying to teach people how to become architects and engineers in the future so that they can build things and create a life of their own. I get it. That's part of the capitalist structure. I get it. But at the same time, you want people to be able to be educated. Like this doesn't fit. So y'all gonna have to help me. I feel like my woke friends out there who might see this video, y'all need to help me with this because I'm not understanding it. The newsletter surfaced amid a broader uproar over critical race theory, and then it goes on, to talk about some other things that have come up with like the National Museum for African American History and Culture that had a graphic on whiteness and things like that. I won't go too much into that. We do not claim to have discovered to own the ideas in this workbook. So this is the training that's promoted by Oregon. It references a 2016 workbook titled Dismantling Racism. They say, we do not claim to have discovered or to own the ideas in this workbook any more than Columbus can claim to have discovered or own America. It is unclear to what extent, if at all, teachers will be involved with this particular workbook created by the group dismantlingracism.org, but it appeared to form part of the foundation of the course's material. The framework for deconstructing racism in mathematics offers essential characteristics of anti-racist math educators and critical approaches to dismantling white supremacy in math classrooms by visualizing the toxic characteristics of white supremacy culture. The toolkit reads before linking to both the workbook and a paper on white supremacy culture. The toolkit adds that building on the framework, teachers engage with critical practice in order to shift their instructional beliefs and practices toward anti-racist math education. By centering anti-racism, we model how to be anti-racist math educators with accountability. And I get it. Build anti-racist accountability. I get that part, but that should be beyond math. That should be just as a teacher in general. I don't understand how, again, 2 plus 2, getting the right answer, understanding algebra, understanding the quadratic formula and getting that right, understanding how to write out the quadratic formula and break it down and do FOIL and do all those things is somehow there's racist sentiment behind it. I mean, we're really like algebra was created by the Arabs, right? So how did it become racist? I'm lost. Maybe they want to teach more about the origins of algebra, similar to the way that we teach the origins of calculus and Sir Isaac Newton, how he created it and things like that. Maybe that's what they're trying to get at. I'm lost, y'all. So y'all gonna have to help me out with this one. Anti-racism curricula have received an area of criticism and support. At the end of the day, this really just seems to me like a manifesto of a group of people. I don't know if it's Black Lives Matter or what. Again, I support the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know too much about the organization, but after everything that's happened last year, we understand, we at least come to a consensus that people need to take Black Lives Matter seriously in terms of, look, stop destroying us, stop killing us, stop putting your knees on us. But this in particular is like, I'm trying to unpack it. I'm trying to understand it, what they're getting at. Another statement says, we cannot dismantle racism in a system that exploits people for private profits. If we want to dismantle racism, then we must build a movement for economic justice. One of the graphics includes protesters calling for taxes on corporations. Quotes are also featured from Howard Zinn, a self-described socialist, and Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara, although the quotes are more generally about activism rather than economics. So this is one of those things where I feel like the right is going to attack it. This is the reason why the left gets attacked for some of these things, because it takes a simple concept and it takes, okay, let's do the right thing. It has the right intentions, but I feel like it's just going about it way too far, and it's just swinging the pendulum in a direction that is just way too much in my mind. But please, I'm looking for some help here to understand this. So if you see this video, please share it, like it, whatever, dislike it, I don't care, but let's have a conversation. Drop some comments down below, and I need to better understand this. What do you guys think? And I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.